Dallas didn't like this. I don't know who liked it, to be totally honest. Mike McCarthy, I'm not sure what he's doing there. Washington capitalizes there. 1st and 10 from the Cowboys' 23-yard line. Yeah, Washington liked it. Good point. Antonio Gibson was money. Somebody here decided to play him on a couple fantasy teams. It went pretty well. It waving goodbye there for Gibson. Washington leads 27-16. Next, Washington possession, 3rd and 6 from the Cowboys' 37. Gibson once again breaks free. It was his 3rd touchdown of the night. Jerry Jones can't stand it. Washington gets their 4th win of the season, winning 41-16. It was an absolute shellacking, and they now sit atop the NFC East following that win. Now they're looking for the NFL to stop the count. This was a tweet that they put out. Makes plenty of sense, as both the Giants and Eagles can leapfrog Washington with a win in Week 12. Of course, Washington since deleted the tweet, but shout out to whoever tweeted that. Marcus, I know you don't want to talk about this, but the Washington football team just crushed the Cowboys. What do you got to say about it?
I was just going through some nice pictures from Thanksgiving on my phone. I was looking at our Thanksgiving pictures. Listen. All right, let me say this for America and get this out of the way. The Cowboys are irrelevant. All right, the Cowboys are in shambles. They have no identity. They don't know what they're doing when it comes to Sunday. They trying to piece by piece figure out everything that's going on. And granted, I feel that you lost your offensive line, and I understand that Dak is hurt, but the fact that you don't even have a plan that you can successfully put out there, even in a loss, baffles me. And that's a big indictment on Mike McCarthy. But let's just get all of this foolishness out the way, because y'all know me, I fight for my boys as hard as I can. But the bottom line is this: if the NFC East wasn't relevant, there would be no point in us talking about the Dallas Cowboys. There would be no point in us having a conversation about what they can do and how can they get better and the things that they can do in order to make a better coach. And Jerry Jones needs to move out of the way and somebody needs to be a GM. We don't need to talk about any of that in 2020 because the Cowboys are irrelevant. Thank goodness the NFC East has been so bad for them this year that we've had to talk about them, but they terrible and I'm sick of them.
Guys, how about Marcus said he didn't want to talk about the Cowboys, but I think he does. Go ahead, Mina.
Yeah, and then you just talked about the Cowboys for like 45 seconds. I want to talk about the team that won, Washington, because
let's do that.
They're not great, but they're building something. We've been talking about the defensive line. Obviously, they've invested a ton of draft capital there. You saw that Chase Young was feasting, but I really enjoyed watching the Washington offense, which is a sentence that people haven't said in a really long time. The run game has been quietly really creative for a while now. Credit to the offensive coordinator, Scott Turner, because on all those touchdown plays, much like the Dallas linebackers, folks at home were watching J.D. McKissic, Logan Thomas, and Antonio Gibson trying to figure out who the heck had the ball. Ton of eye candy, pre-snap motion. They've been doing it all season. You saw it pay off in a huge way. It feels like they're building an identity as a creative running team with a bunch of ballers on defense. I'm not going to say a good time because I don't want to over dramatize it, but it's a hopeful time to be a Washington football fan.
Well, you know what Mina's trying to do? Mina's trying to calm us all down because all of these teams are terrible, right? The Redskins, the football team is terrible. The Cowboys are terrible. But what she said is true. The Washington football team has things to build upon. They have two really good backs that they mix in so well. Obviously, offensive coordinator Scott Turner is doing an amazing job. But let's talk about this front. Chase Young, Montez Sweat, Allen, the way that they get after the quarterback, the way that they distort the line of scrimmage in the run game, they have core pieces to build upon. And if you're looking towards the future, you look at the Washington football team and say that they have a chance. They have an identity. They have a coach. But when you say both of these teams, who going forward can be better, it only works for the Cowboys if you get back a healthy 100% Dak Prescott and he is taken care of and he is healthy. Because what we have seen is that you don't have the pieces any other way. So right now, you'd rather be in Washington than be in Dallas, and that is a good feeling after Turkey Day.
Yeah, I mean, Ryan, to your point, too, you say taken care of for Dak Prescott. Got to pay that man. New on NFL Live, and you heard Marcus mention this a little bit as well with the O-line, but Cowboy head coach Mike McCarthy says Zach Martin and Cam are postponed. Of course, now that one's on Tuesday, Ravens-Steelers, but we did see two actually happen. So we start with the Texans and the Lions, and it was Deshaun Watson's actual first Thanksgiving Day game start. He was excited about that. And early, we picked this one up in the second quarter. 1st and 10, Texans trail by 1. Watson finding Duke Johnson down the sideline for the touchdown. Duke Johnson, very productive for the Texans in the first half. They took the 20-14 lead. Early in the fourth quarter, where we go here, and look at Watson lobbing it up, finding Will Fuller. You'll see the pass, but what I want to point out is that DeAndre Hopkins actually tweeted that Will Fuller is a number one. High praise from the former number one Watson had. Texans lead 34-17 after a successful 2-point conversion. How about the trick play right there? Johnson with the handoff, and then Watson throwing it to a wide open Will Fuller. You're going to see this in a minute. No one was covering Fuller on the trick play. Per next-gen stats, see that really big green circle? 18.75 yards of separation to the closest defender for Fuller there. Texans win 41-25. And Brian, Deshaun Watson's looked absolutely incredible. If you've been paying attention to the Texans, Mina's pointed this out. Of late, he's been really, really good. How does he compare, in your mind, to other QBs in the league right now?
Right now, if we're just talking about playing football right now, the last 5 or 6 games, Deshaun Watson is the best quarterback in football. And I know everybody at home is going to be, but what about Patrick Mahomes? He's so good. Patrick Mahomes also has help. Patrick Mahomes also wasn't sandbagged by Bill O'Brien. And yes, he got $160 million, but Deshaun Watson is earning every single penny of what he was given. He is carrying this team. He's creating plays on second play opportunities. He's been accurate. He hasn't turned the ball over in 5 or 6 games. The way that this man is playing is showing you some of those things that Dabo Swinney said about him coming out. He is a winner. He is a workhorse. He is a man that can galvanize the team and be a leader. And so whoever takes this job better understand that they are getting a dog. Surround him with the right people, coach him the right way, and you have a chance to win. Deshaun Watson is going to be a baller in this league for a very long time, and this year is an example why.
Yeah, you know, I was talking about DeAndre Hopkins in the highlight there. Obviously, Bill O'Brien, the guy that sends DeAndre Hopkins to the Cardinals, and all that is certainly history. But, Mina, when you think about who is going to take both jobs, there's a GM job and also the head coach job. Is that a good job in Houston?
Yeah. Ooh, I think the two jobs have different appeals or different levels of appeal. The coaching job, I think, is attractive because Deshaun Watson is the type of quarterback that some coaches wait their entire careers for, right? Like, much like I apparently didn't get the memo that we were all wearing our Thanksgiving tablecloths today. Sorry, I didn't match you guys. Deshaun Watson didn't get the memo that he's on a bad team because he is playing like he's on a good team, and he is crushing it, and he has evidence that wins are not a quarterback stat, even though they just won. But that said, this is a capped out roster with a lot of holes that traded away their draft picks. Like, this is a challenging job for a GM. I'm not sure I'd want it, even though I would love to coach Deshaun Watson.
You know, I'm starting to notice all of these little hits that you putting out here. I got you. I'm marking them down every single day. Listen, this is a no-brainer for me, y'all, and it doesn't take that long to think about when we get to the point of head coaching. Go hire Eric Bieniemy, please, Houston, and do what you need to do in order for Deshaun Watson and this team to be in a system, but philosophy. Like we talk about Eric Bieniemy and the greatness of Mahomes and all of these weapons. Go listen to Eric Bieniemy do an interview. Listen to him talk. That's the kind of guy you want to be your head coach, especially with a young budding star at quarterback. Go hire him, Houston.
Hey, listen, back to the Thanksgiving tablecloth thing. Mina, maybe you just like a more plain tablescape than the rest of us since we're all wearing tablecloths today.
We all from the South. She don't know nothing about that.
Right, we like patterns. We're all extra from the South. Mina's like classy over there. All right, listen, let's get to the other game that happened on Thanksgiving, and that would be the Washington football team taking on the Dallas Cowboys. And, you know, listen, I think all of us on this show picked the Cowboys.